for listening to an episode of the Private Officer Beat Radio, a production of Private Officer International. All rights are reserved. Private Officer International is a private security and law enforcement organization. You can check them out today and learn more at www.privateofficer.org or give their corporate offices a call Monday through Friday at area code 704-831-8109.
You are listening to the voice of the frontline protector here at the Private Officer Beat Radio. Every week you'll hear breaking news, topics of training, information for the industry of security, public safety, and law enforcement. So strap in, hang on, we're about to speed off in this episode of the Private Officer Beat Radio. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first radio show of July 2021. Here it is, one day after the 4th of July. Hope that you are enjoying your vacation, your time off, your R&R, wherever you might be. Thanks for joining us here on the Private Officer Beat Radio. I'm your host, Rick McCann, and we've got a good show for you. Of course, I know a lot of you are still probably kicking back, relaxing, maybe not even at work. I hope you're not. Hope that you are enjoying time with the family. But remember, this program can be listened to on demand, streaming 24/7, 365 days a year on the iHeartRadio network, on Amazon Radio, iTunes, and about 15 other locations. And, of course, you can always listen to it right here on our own platform, on our own website, privateofficer.org. And while you're there, sign up for our breaking news alerts. A box will drop down from the main menu. Just put in your name and your email address, and anytime that there is hot breaking news relative to the private security industry, public safety, or law enforcement, anytime there's an officer down report, or occasionally we might send you some information on some hot discounts for training or special events. And a couple of those special events are coming up right now in Polson, Montana. If you are in the state of Montana and you would like to attend a 3-day certification training, we're going to be talking about mental health emergencies, the new extra steps of de-escalation, unarmed security, how you can respond and protect yourself, communications with others, a verbal judo that has been revised, and much more. Contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Another event coming up real soon is in Atlanta, Georgia. I believe that's the 13th of July. We'll be certifying in chemical spray, taser, phaser, and CEW weapons, along with the use of new de-escalation steps and less lethal force. This is a two-day training contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We're also going to be scheduling out for the next 3 months training. If you, your business, your church, your school, your hospital, or your whatever it might be, shopping mall, would like for us to come in and train more than 400 different courses and certifications, contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We are back on the road. Thank goodness. After 2020 locked us down for most of the year, our wheels are turning. I think it was the group Alabama that had that song, Big Wheels Turning. And there's a few other country songs, I'm sure, talking all about big rigs and highway and all of that. You know, how about this one? On the Road Again. Willie Nelson. Yeah, great song. I think that's going to be our theme song for the next 3 or 4 months because we're certainly booking up fast. We also teach regulatory training in over a dozen states, and we'll be doing a lot of that as well. Contact helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We will have Armory College, one of the admissions staffs, get in touch with you about scheduling training in your area. The other very cool thing this year, 2021, we're finally going to get a chance to go back in late August, early September, all the way through September actually, and do some Officer Down Memorial events. These events last between 30 and 90 minutes. They are memorials to private security, private law enforcement, and even area law enforcement killed in the line of duty. Now, if you would like to hold a memorial event at your location, it doesn't take much. You need a little space, holds about 15 to 50 people, depending on how many's coming, of course. We need you to interact with your community, security, law enforcement, firefighters, so forth. Let them know what's coming their way, and we need you to be involved and help us to market and push that out. Other than that, we need very little, and we can tell you more. Just contact us where? Helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Over the last few weeks, we've been talking about the Cavalry is not coming. Last week, we did talk about the changing times. Less law enforcement means longer waits when security has to call for police. We also talked about the various things happening with defund the police. We've got a lot more to talk about this show and in the next few weeks. We are going to take our first break. When we come back, let's see what else is happening around us. We did send out an email a few weeks ago about 6 arrests and security officer deaths. We'll talk more about that. We'll be right back here on the Private Officer Beat Radio.
Why? Why take a chance? Why risk a mistake? Why say something? We all have reasons why we choose to ignore the things that give us pause, that seem out of place, that don't feel right. The word why can either paralyze us or empower us to stand up and protect what we love. So if you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my family.
I see safe for my friends.
I see say so that they are safe.
We see say for each other.
I see say because all of this matters.
We all have something worth protecting, a why that unifies this community we're all a part of. So protect your everyday. Report suspicious activity to local authorities. If you see something, say something.
If you're not already receiving breaking news and our bi-weekly newsletter, Officer Down reports, and discount training news in your personal or business email, then go to our website right now at privateofficer.org. privateofficer.org. A Dropbox will come down. Just fill out your info, and you'll be the first, one of the first, for sure, to know about what's happening in the security industry. You'll know when a security officer is killed. You'll also get these great discounts on training and equipment and so much more. privateofficer.org. And have you thought in recent days, weeks, months, or years about your career? Have you wanted to change professions or move up the ladder where you're at? Maybe you even thought about running your own business. Right now, Armor College is offering a 16-week management program that will go in detail in over 30 topics, some with how to be advanced in your career, how to climb the ladder, or even how to start your own business. Command Staff College. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you. It's offered by law enforcement and the military, but this is the first private college in the U.S. that we know of that's currently offering it at low prices. Contact helpdesk@armorcollege.org. Sign up because this class starts this week, and we want to make sure that you get registered for session 1. Helpdesk@armor, A-R-M-O-U-R, college.org. I'm telling you, this will change. It is life-changing, but it will change your path for the better. Contact Armor College today. Well, over the past few days, Private Officer International News Department, we have full-time staff in the office that do nothing but news. They sent out an email alert a few days ago. Police have arrested 6 people in the murders of about a dozen security officers that have occurred in the last 6 weeks. Police in North Carolina, California, New York, Indiana, all making arrests in the murders of security officers. 43 security officers, 132 others shot. 43 security officers murdered so far in 2021. 132 or more shot. Number one, we're very appreciative to the fact that law enforcement oftentimes looks at a security officer murder in the same light as if it was one of their own. I'm not saying every time. I'm not saying in every place. Murder is murder. It's going to be a high priority investigation anyways. But there are agencies that we know of who have looked at murders of security officers on duty in the same light as if it was one of their officers. So 6 homicide arrests, including the 2 that were charged with the murder of retired law enforcement officer in Gary, Indiana, who was gunned down during a bank robbery. Now, one of those arrested, believe it or not, was the owner of a semi-pro league athletic organization. And the backstory is that he was running out of funding, even using credit cards and building up credit card debt to pay his players, to the point where he had no more credit card available, no credit line, unable to secure funding from the bank, no money. So what did he do? He got together with another gangster and went to hit this bank in Gary, Indiana, thinking that it was going to be a quick in and out. But they didn't realize there was an armed officer in the parking lot. So rather than just disarm him and tie him up or throw him in the trunk of a vehicle or something of that nature, they just killed him. They killed him before they committed the robbery. Then they went in, they robbed the bank, and they fled. Police in Miami arresting the second suspect, the owner of the semi-pro athletic organization, and the first bank robber they caught pretty quick nearby in the woods near the bank. Police were hot on the trail, and they did a great job in those arrests. Police arrested a man who hit a guard shack in California last weekend and killed a security officer. He was reckless, probably DUI, but police hunted him down and charged him with manslaughter. Police arrested a person in New York who killed a security officer because he asked him to turn his vehicle radio down. Police arrested a man very quickly in Wichita, Kansas, who shot a security officer on duty at the Quick Trip after he asked him to leave the property. You see, police understand that when you're on duty, regardless of the badge, regardless of what it says on the patch, you're doing the same work that they are doing. And now more than ever, many police departments, agencies, are also recognizing that security is making a difference. Over 6,000 sworn special police officers in Washington, D.C. over the last year. Several times, both the mayor and the police chief has come out in public with the Washington Post and the D.C. Metro TV news stations thanking these private law enforcement officers for their help, because they know without them they would not be able to keep crime down, and they are having struggles doing it even with the manpower. D.C. police and these private police officers, there's over 12,000 combined officers, 12,000, and yet crime is still high. Law enforcement and politicians in numerous cities over the last 2 years have thanked private security for helping them to reduce and prevent crime. We told you last week, unfortunately, in Boston, Massachusetts, they've gone the opposite way. They decided to suspend Rule 400 and 400A, which allowed for private law enforcement to be commissioned. Now, there are other private police officers in Boston that did not lose their credentials, their commission, but 1,200 plus did, and Boston will probably soon realize the increase of crime and the increase of calls that these officers prevented. While you have this many number of private law enforcement out there, what they're doing is taking action and thereby reducing the call volume for law enforcement. It's simple. They're preventing crime, they're detecting crime, and they're making arrests when necessary. Many cities have these officers. In fact, we have several courses at Armour College, private police business and special police, private police. Check them out today. It is unfortunate that we do have to talk about violence in the radio show every week. It's not a happy topic. It's not pleasurable for any of us in the office to talk about this day in and day out, although we see it 15 hours a day. When I'm in the office a good 12, 13 hours a day. I see all the news that comes across our news feeds. It is unfortunately something that's in our face every day. And it does affect us in ways that it may not affect the average person who only hears about what's happening once in a blue moon. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook, twitter.com/private officer, and on Facebook, facebook.com/private officer international. If you're not already doing that, I'm telling you, that's a great way to keep up with what's happening with POI and Armor College. You can also join us on LinkedIn. We have several private groups there, including members only, as well as supervisors and managers. We'll take another quick break. When we come back, a lot more to talk about. Definitely a lot of news as we're enjoying kind of a holiday. Many companies and individuals are off today, Monday the 5th. Usually many of these type of holidays fall on a Monday, so you get Saturday and Sunday off and a Monday. This time around, it fell on Sunday, so you still get that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3-day holiday. If you're lucky enough, some people actually took the week prior off, so they were off Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 10 days, and return on that 12th or 11th day. Must be nice to be in the corporate world. I'm not quite that. No, I'm not. I'm not quite up there in that management level where I get those days off like that. But we'll be right back here on the Private Officer Beat Radio.
Can we be real for a minute? I'm a high school math teacher, and I'm a firefighter.
Man, we're going to have you out in just a minute, okay?
I'm a designer.
I'm a retired VP in business.
And I'm a student.
I'm a mother.
I'm a business analyst, and I'm a volunteer firefighter.
You thought we just fought fire?
Firefighters get trained to do so many things.
Right here. Be sharp.
What we do is serious business.
Three-quarters of the nation's first responders are volunteers. That includes here in Connecticut. And lately, it's been harder than ever, with fewer citizens volunteering.
From teenage cadets like me
to seasoned veterans like me.
So what are you waiting for?
You ready to make a difference? Ready to join our team?
Your community needs you. We need you. Visit everydayheroct.org or stop by your local firehouse today and take the first step of joining your fire department.
Welcome back to the Private Officer Beat Radio on this Monday, the 5th of July, 2021. Listen, right now we've got an amazing opportunity for you. Our investment group, we're looking right now for 3 companies, 3 businesses along the eastern seaboard or the Gulf Coast. Now, we're not going to narrow it down to just security companies. We're going to leave it open this time around, and we're going to invest. We're looking for 3 companies to invest in, any types of businesses. We have a lot of different business experience, business ownership experience. So we've talked about it. We said, let's leave it open. Let's not pigeonhole it and say, security companies or schools only. Let's see what else people have. So the criteria is very simple. You got to be in business for at least 3 years, and you got to be in the black. We can't come in and bail you out if you're $100,000 or $300,000 in the red. That's not going to happen. We're looking to help grow established businesses either within their state or to help them to grow into multiple states. Again, we're not going to generalize it to the point where, anything goes, but we do want you to understand that we'll be happy to look at whatever business you have, but we are looking for patrol services, alarm companies, electronic security companies, dispatch services, training schools, medical, technical, vocational, and we're also looking for opportunities to get into training for ex-prisoners or veterans. If you have anything like that happening, you're in business successfully, we'd like to talk with you. Send us an email at helpdesk@privateofficer.com, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We have a number of different ways that we invest in businesses. This is not a startup offer. We're not able at this time to go in and just give you a ton of money to open up a business, especially if you don't have any business experience. That's high risk with low reward and a long time for the return on the investment. But we are looking for established companies at least 3 years, and you got to be in the black. Contact us, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. There's a lot of news that's happening every day, 24/7, and we are going to get into that here momentarily. But there's always things that we need to talk about. Number one, we need you to get involved. Whether you're a member of POI or not quite a member yet, we need you to get involved in our benevolent services. We have many officers that are injured. We have those who are killed in the line of duty, and we need you to be our boots on the ground. We need for you to be our spokesperson. Right now, we're also looking for folks to be on our award committee, our benevolent service committee, as well as several other programs. If you want to be involved, send us an email at helpdesk@privateofficer.com, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Did you happen to read this news article in our daily news blog? privateofficerbreakingnews.blogspot.com. A contracted security officer working at an Amazon location at a checkpoint talked to an applicant, someone coming in looking for a job. They were not allowed to bring their purse or their phone to the interview office area. They were to be stored and held and secured and protected by the contract security company. The applicant did leave her purse, her money, her keys, her phone, as requested. By the time she returned after the application process, returned back to pick up her purse, the female security officer had already went in to the lady's purse, got out a credit card, and began making charges on the credit card, including sending some money through a cash app to herself. How stupid, how unethical, how untrusting can you be, and you're in a position of helping and securing others, and you can't do the right thing for 5 or 10 minutes. She did this quickly. Law enforcement investigators said within a few minutes she had already racked up charges and sent herself money through a cash app. The applicant, lucky for her, and she's very similar to me, I check things. If I tell you, every day I check our bank accounts, every day I check my my phone. I check everything that, I even check my credit every 48, 72 hours. And most people can't say that. But this woman checked her phone, and she got a text message, an alert that one of her credit cards had been used. And that's the other thing that we do. All of our credit cards, personal and business, have alerts on them. Anytime they're used, we get an alert. So just in case it's not us using it, and thankfully she did have an alert. And she immediately began investigating, and she found where these charges were made and the money sent via a cash app from her bank account. She immediately went back in, called the police, 911, got the manager involved. They detained her. Store employees, not police, store employees detained this security guard. And I believe LP probably got involved if they were in the store. They detained her until police could arrive. Within minutes of arrival, police determined that a felony had several felonies had been committed, and they immediately arrested her, handcuffed her in public. Pretty embarrassing. Took her into custody, put her in the patrol car, took her purse and personal items, and unfortunately for Amazon and this contract security company, the woman, even though she was a licensed security officer in the state for this contract company, and even though they had ran a background check, people always think that is the end-all, be-all to everything. Background check. As long as you do a background. No, that's not even the beginning. How many people who have never been arrested in their lives get arrested for heinous crimes, horrendous crimes, murders, rapes, robberies? While a background check sure does help to let you know who you're dealing with or what they may have done in the past or what their history is, it doesn't stop them from being dishonest. But thank goodness it all came together and the woman got her money back. And I don't know if she was hired. Maybe at that point she didn't want to be hired by Amazon, although Amazon didn't have anything directly to do with it. But, horrific. Unfortunately, whatever the financial problems or issues were with the security guard, now she has a lot more issues because she's charged with multiple felonies. She's even charged with wire fraud because of the Cash App situation. It is not worth it, people. We did a radio show a number of years ago about how many police officers and security officers risk their whole career, their pension, their family, their marriage, everything for stealing a couple of dollars, for being dishonest for a few minutes. It's not worth it. We'll probably have to revise that radio show because, unfortunately, a lot of security officers get arrested for the same thing. Theft is the number one charge for security. And unfortunately, we're seeing burglary, which every year there's always a number of security personnel arrested for burglary on duty, but now those charges, those situations are increasing as well. I don't know. I cannot trust a liar. I cannot trust a thief. I cannot trust someone who would steal from their own family. No. I've had it done to me, and I'm very particular who we hire throughout our various companies. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Private Officer Beat Radio, of course. And if you've got some people you want to recognize some employees just for being a good employee, you want to recognize someone who's used some life-saving skills, you want to recognize someone who's made a good arrest, please contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We love to recognize these kind of people. We'll be right back.
coast, cops are cracking down on seatbelt violations. Buckle up day and night or expect a ticket. It doesn't matter who you are or where you live, they'll be on the lookout. Cops write tickets to save lives. Click it for ticket.
I met Luke when I was pretty much born. We kind of just grew up together. He got his license when he was 16. We were going to the beach, and Luke was driving. I was in the passenger seat, and all of a sudden, I don't remember anything. I wasn't conscious for it. We got hit by a drunk driver. I feel like I knew right away that it was never going to be the same. I don't know. The doctors, they were telling me I was so lucky to be alive. When I found out that he died on impact, I didn't really feel lucky. And sometimes I still don't. Drinking and driving is completely unnecessary, and I think it's selfish if you do it. It's not worth taking that risk, because you never know what's going to happen.
And this morning we're sitting over here at the news desk. We're checking the latest news and keeping an eye on Tropical Storm Elsa swinging up her path now, headed for Florida and just the edge of southeastern area of Alabama. Still keeping an eye. They have a potential for doing their own thing. These storms could be a tropical storm when it makes landfall, or it could actually be a hurricane. It's predicted to then head a little bit more inland and curve back the Atlantic coast. But we'll see. We're keeping an eye on that and a lot of other news. But I do want to give you a couple of news stories that you're probably not going to hear on your local news. Weird, but true. They say that truth is stranger than fiction. And most of the time, you read these stories, it's hard to picture and imagine, but you know, they look like they may have been made up, but of course, they haven't. A man is under arrest for murder after he applied for a nightclub security position. The man walked into the nightclub applying for a job, was interviewed by the security manager, who he didn't know at the time was actually an off-duty deputy sheriff. The deputy sheriff realized that the man was actually a wanted fugitive. They'd been looking for him for quite some time, and he was at the right place at the right time. The man did not get the job for the security position, but he did get a free ride to the county jail. Police in Pennsylvania last week responded to a call of a group who had sat down in an aisle at a Home Depot and was in the process of an exorcism. Police arrived probably somewhat confused as to what was really happening and was this a real call. Found out that, yes, the group was having an exorcism for the trees that were being cut down and used and sold at the Home Depot. They were all cited for trespassing and released. Very strange and odd, I'm sure. I can imagine being the police officer. We're going there for what? What's happening? Is this a joke of some type? It's not April 1st, is it? But it was a true story. NYPD said that they observed a man driving down the street with a machine gun attached to his vehicle. Authorities pulled the vehicle over, and it was a prop for a video, ticketed him, and then took some pictures with the prop. This week in California, a man driving down the road had a satellite dish on his car. This was from SpaceX. The company who is launching private rockets also has the latest technology for satellites. The man was asked by the California Highway Patrol, "What in the world are you doing with the satellite on the hood of your vehicle?" He said that he had a business that required Wi-Fi in his vehicle. He ran the business out of his vehicle, and he needed that Wi-Fi as part of the business. Officer asked him, "Well, isn't it obstructing your view?" And he told the officer, "Only when I'm taking a right-hand turn." The satellite was attached further to the right of the vehicle's hood than to the center. Weird news, I'll tell you. Saw a picture a couple of weeks ago. It was of a man in California. He had a complete living room set attached to his vehicle, a sofa and a chair attached to his vehicle traveling down the road. You just never know. You never know what you're going to see. All right, in the real news, let's get to the real news happening here this week. You know, we're always checking out the news, and you can too. You can go to our daily news blog at privateofficernews.correction. That's going to be privateofficerbreakingnews.blogspot.com. All right, let's check out the real news, what's happening here around the country.
And now for the news.
All right, headlines for this week coming out of California. It seems like a number of retailers have decided to close early in light of the constant shoplifting issues in their stores. Both Targets and Walmarts are highlighting this serious situation after California, one of the states that recently made shoplifting less of a concern for law enforcement, is in many areas is finding that shoplifters are blatantly coming in and loading up garbage bags and taking armfuls of merchandise out. Targets and Walmarts in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Sacramento, among other cities, have decided that the organized retail crime in their area is really just too much for them. According to the California Retailers Association, many of those stores are beginning to close early, where they would normally be open until at least 9, sometimes 10 p.m. in the evening. They are now closing at 6 p.m. Store managers say they no longer want to tackle or try to tackle the organized retail crime in their area. It's too dangerous for their employees, and so they're closing down early. And California is not the only state where we're seeing this happening. In New Carlisle, Ohio, a delivery driver for Papa John's shot and killed a would-be robbery suspect. Police said that the driver returned to the store to find a robbery in progress. Officers say that the man fired upon the two masked robbers, one armed with a knife and one armed with a crowbar. Police do not say that any charges will be filed. Law enforcement, in a statement over the weekend, said that it appears to be a good case of self-defense. Hooray and heroics. In Branson, Missouri, police there are saying that an alert nurse foiled an attempt to kidnap a baby. Authorities said that she recognized a man who had a newborn in the room and recognized that he was not supposed to be in the room. She confronted the man. Security was called. The man who was the biological father but not authorized to have the child had put the child in a duffel bag and tried to leave. Security detained the man, and he was later arrested. Police are saying that the observant nurse was heroic in her actions. 3 unlicensed security guards in New York have been arrested during a raid in Port Jefferson. Police charged 3 men with not having state security licenses. They were among 348 so far arrested in the last 2 years. Police in Utah are saying that they discovered a body at the Salt Lake City International Airport, though they don't know how the body got there. They're not saying the cause of death, but that the investigation is continuing. Coming out of Woodstock, Illinois, is a man there charged with spitting blood at a nurse and security officers at a hospital. He also kicked them. Julio C. Enriquez, 34, of Woodstock, Illinois, has been charged with 3 Class 2 felony counts of aggravated battery after the assault on police who responded. He's also charged with 3 felony counts of aggravated battery on a security officer as well as on a medical worker. Coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina, we talked about this a number of months ago. The police chief, the new police chief, he's been in office for about a year now, decided to put all of his 2,500 employees through a customer service course. This $60,000 worth of training is to help his officers to understand that the public they serve are actually customers. He compares them to customers at Starbucks and Chick-fil-A's as well as Disney, saying that his vision is to bring a world-class hospitality culture to policing in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. Chief Johnny Jennings says he wants to look at every person as a customer and operate from a customer service base. Lawsuits against private security continue rising, according to our organization, Private Officer International, as well as several other organizations. The lawsuits against private security continue to rise. As of 2020, annually, there has been more than 100 million cases filed, lawsuits in general filed in state courts, 400,000 cases filed. This is in general cases, not just against security, but overall. Private Officer International has tracked in 2019 more than 3,000 cases filed against security companies. Remember, you can go to our daily news blog at privateofficerbreakingnews.blogspot.com. Check out our daily news. You can also go to our website at privateofficer.org. A box will drop down, and you can sign up for the latest breaking news. 1 police officer was shot, another injured at the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, working the first concert at the stadium. There were several incidents. Officers responded. They were working security, and one of the officers was injured. Another was injured trying to make an arrest. A miraculous news story coming out of Fayetteville, North Carolina this week. Charles Jackson Jr., a security officer who was shot in the head at a nightclub, has made a remarkable recovery. It was hit or miss there for quite some time. They didn't know if he would survive at all. Jackson is a former Marine who served as a military police officer in Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and in Somalia. Well, he finally made it home. He's not out of the woods yet. Police said that on August the 8th, while working security in Fayetteville, he tried to break up a fight. A man pulled a gun and shot him directly in the head. Police have made an arrest in that situation. And that, coming out of California, this is eye-opening. According to a new study in California, private citizens were responsible for 40% of justifiable homicides in 2020, not law enforcement. Private citizens defending themselves were responsible for committing more than 40% of the justifiable homicides. Statistics published by the state of California reveals that it was actually citizens who used deadly force more often in California during 2020 than law enforcement. To the chagrin of cop haters, this is a very sobering reality of criminal violence. Just this past week in Tennessee, the governor there passed a law that allows citizens to carry concealed weapon without a permit. It's called constitutional carry. Also coming out of Alabama, the governor there, Governor Ivey, signed a lifetime permit. Once you get your concealed weapons permit, it is not subject to being renewed. It is a lifetime permit. We are seeing more and more cases of citizens defending themselves. Unfortunately, this story here shows how you need to understand what the law is and what you can and cannot do. Coming out of Indianapolis, a store clerk there is accused of murder. He killed a shoplifter who stole one can. We see this pretty often. We really do. The man stole one can of Red Bull. As he was trying to exit the store clerk stood in his way. A confrontation happened. As he got in the vehicle, the store clerk shot and killed him. We do see this pretty often. Unfortunately, because people don't understand the law, they think they have a right to defend themselves. But according to the investigators in this case, in Indianapolis, the law does not allow for anyone to use deadly force to protect property, and that is the way in many states. Not all, but many. Had there been an assault or some other type of action that would have warranted, use of deadly force, no charges would have been brought, according to the investigator. A case coming out of Rio Rancho, New Mexico. Parents have sued the school system and the security contractors for sexual assault. At least 3 families now are suing the Rio Rancho public schools and school security officers who allegedly used the security protocols of pat-downs to grope and sexually assault students, according to this lawsuit. Coming out of, there's a lot of cases, but coming out of Indianapolis, also a shooting at a Castleton Square mall left 5 people shot. 2 were fatally shot in violence at the mall. Security officers, along with law enforcement, did respond. The security officers were not injured. According to law enforcement, this mall has had been the scene of numerous shootings over the last few years. Nashville, Tennessee had a great 4th of July. They reported using more than 1,000 police officers and private security officers to patrol the downtown area. They were expecting upwards of about 600,000 persons. Nashville's a beautiful area. They shoot the fireworks right there on the Cumberland River. And obviously, many people had fun, and they were well protected by more than 1,000 security and law enforcement. Remember, Body Armor USA, we've got what it takes to protect you. It doesn't matter if you're looking for body armor, you're looking for protective clothing, protective gloves, slash-resistant vests. Check them out today, Body Armor USA. We've got what it takes to protect you. In other news, this week, an officer has been arrested for smuggling a Krispy Kreme treat into a South Carolina prison. The correctional officer has been fired and arrested after they found that she had put some drugs into Krispy Kreme treats that she was bringing in for several prisoners. The correction officer was taken into custody right there. Camille Graham is a medium security prison. This is where the incident occurred. Also, coming out of Eugene, Oregon, 3 officers were injured there after trying to arrest a shoplifter that had been detained by security at a Home Depot. Fights ensued. Alfredo Costello, 44, was eventually apprehended after injuring 3 police officers. It does not say whether or not the security officer was injured. And a final news story coming out of Coney Island, New York, a security officer who confronted a young man, 21 years old, and a girl for their disorderly conduct in the park, got into a confrontation. It became physical. The 21-year-old man was injured after hitting his head on the pavement. Police were called and investigated. They have decided that after looking at video that the 21-year-old man was the aggressor, and security was legally defending themselves. No charges going to be applied there. Breaking news happens 24/7, and you can always check it out every single day at our news blog at privateofficerbreakingnews.blogspot.com. We're coming right back. You're listening to the Private Officer Beat Radio. Hey everyone, you're listening to the voice of the Frontline Protector right here on the Private Officer Radio Network. Now don't go away, because we are coming right back when we've got a whole lot more right here on the Private Officer Beat Radio.
Life is precious. Ask any of these people. They've been given a second chance at life through organ and tissue donation. But there are more than 84,000 Americans waiting for life-saving transplants. 17 people die every day waiting. I didn't know this until I lost my best friend, Lyric. She gave the gift of life to 5 people. That's why I've become an organ donor, too. One decision saves so many lives. Donate life.
Welcome back to this edition of the Private Officer Beat Radio. Oftentimes on this program, we do have to deliver bad news about the security industry. We have to talk about security officers being arrested. We have to talk about security company owners having issues with the law. We talk about the problems with the industry, and it's an unfortunate part of our job. Today, we want to talk about the good, some of the good things that have happened just over the last 30 days, and every month we're going to reveal as much as we can. Remember, if you know of a security officer that deserves to be recognized or given an award, contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Ray Towns from Knoxville, Tennessee, a security officer at one of the local malls, is being recognized for saving a life after he performed CPR on a shopper who went down. The security manager and the security management department responded along with Officer Town. He's being recognized as a hero and a lifesaver. Walden Security recently announced that Stephen Wilson was the 2020 Court Security Officer of the Year. He works the Fifth Circuit of the U.S. Marshal Service. The annual award is presented to employees of the company. Only 13 security officers out of 6,000 receive this award every single year, so that's a pretty high recognition for the security officer. Coming out of San Bernardino, California, the San Bernardino Medical Center recognized Eladio Iglesias, the security officer at the hospital, as well as Dana Molino, the hospital security director, for supporting the military, as many members there are in the National Guard or the Reserve. A Los Angeles security officer has been recognized just in the past 2 weeks for stopping a bank robbery in progress. Police say that he recognized a person entering the bank just in time. The person had previously been on the news for other robberies. He was able to detain that suspect. Also coming out of L.A., we want to recognize an employee of the Los Angeles County area, Muhammad Ahmed, was arrested because of this security officer. The man, an employee of a contractor, stole more than 500 blank COVID cards, which we assume is going to be sold on the black market. And that was excellent observation and apprehension by the security officer there. Remember, if you see a security officer worthy of being recognized, or if you yourself believe that you need to be recognized, contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. San Jose, a video released just last week, terrifying moments after a pickup hit and killed a woman in the outdoor patio of a bar, but a security officer working at the Agave Bar and Grill was able to make a detention and held on to the driver until police arrived. Another bank robbery stopped in Buffalo, New York. A security officer, not named in the news article, was able to stop a woman who had come in with a gun, which later turned out to be an airsoft weapon, and did make an apprehension on her. He not only detained, but he had to subdue the woman who was trying to escape. Yonkers security officer, also in New York, is being recognized here for their actions. In fact, all of these employees will also receive awards from Private Officer International. The security officer in Yonkers also involved in a life-saving situation. Police there say that the man performed security, was making security patrols in the downtown area when he recognized that a man was having a medical emergency. Another Yonkers, New York security officer also being recognized for his assistance. Jeffrey Anderson is a school security officer in Yonkers. He helped a mother and a daughter who was stranded on Cross County Parkway. She had run out of gas. It was a lot of traffic, a dangerous situation. The off-duty security officer stopped and assisted this mother and daughter. He didn't have to. He could have kept on going home. He could have just ignored it, but he didn't. Securitas North America recognized several security officers for heroism. A Bronx new security officer was one of them at the Triborough Center. He was recognized for his heroism in a recent ceremony. Another security officer has been honored in San Juan, Puerto Rico, for life-saving assistance when he performed CPR on a person who had stopped breathing. A security officer at the Los Alamos High School also being recognized. The school system recognized a security officer who is also the security team leader. Security Officer Scott Reynolds was the employee of the year. Many, many security officers involved in heroic situations all across the country every single week. Be sure to let us know if you see something in the news, if you see something, happening, if you you yourself are involved in something, we want to make sure that you get full credit. A bank robber in Illinois has also been taken into custody by a security officer. In Homewood, Illinois, an attempted bank robbery at the U.S. Bank ended after a security officer took the person into custody. FBI said no one was injured and no one was harmed. The security officer was heroic in this situation. That's going to do us for this edition of the Private Officer Beat Radio. I hope that you are enjoying your July 4th weekend as we are, as we're heading out on the road, heading to Montana. But our radio show will be broadcasted next week from Pablo, Montana, from the Flathead Lake, and we're going to be streaming some of the training as well. So be sure to join us for that. Until the next time, be safe, be blessed, and we'll see you here on the radio.